So you may be confused about what just happened. A player has died in 4 seconds to fish swimming in water. Forget about lava or TNT or suspicious-looking rooms or other complicated traps. Because the real deadliest danger this whole time is the species known as Gadus murwa, a calm and peaceful object that spends most of its time doing fish activities. A group of 23 of these is the same thing. But when it becomes 24, anything near this group of fish will begin losing 6 hearts worth of damage per second. It becomes an execution method. This damage does not care about armor or any other defenses you may have. Golden apples are futile, and totems of undying can only spare mere seconds. Because this type of damage is entity cramming. Now I do realize that I am being too overdramatic. And that is true. In reality, protection enchants make entity cramming a slight tickle, and it is also extremely easy to kill fishes. There are better ways to assassinate someone with a trap. But this one is quite funny. Which is the only reason why I made it. Here is a bit more detail on how it works. Entity cramming happens when 25 or more mobs are stuffed into a single block, causing them to suffocate. For some reason, this is deadlier than the void or drowning, making it one of the deadliest natural damage. There is just one slight problem. Getting 24 mobs into the same spot is very challenging to do. It is even more inconvenient to make a trap out of it since it's very hard to maintain the 24 mobs. What if the mobs die? What if the player kills them and stops suffocating? What if the player flies out of the entities? What if they descend at those things? Fear not. Because fish solves it all. Ever since 1.14 introduced the cod in a bucket, getting 25 mobs in one area has been easier than lemon squeezy, since the dispenser basically becomes a mob spawner when it is filled with cod buckets, which is better when it is connected to a redstone timer. Multiply these dispensers by 4, attach chests and hoppers to the side for codfish reinforcements, and make the redstone timer go on super speed, and you have fishes spawning everywhere and every time. That's how every it is. Making it one of the easiest ways to trap people with entity cramming. Surprisingly, this trap is very cheap and simple to build. For some unexplained reason, fishermen villagers sell buckets of cod for low prices. Combine this with an overpowered emerald farm and villager farm, and you do the math. Due to this trap being quite small, you can sneak it almost anywhere. The entrance is basically just a small hole, which makes it even better for making the trap less obvious. The trap requires at least 100 cod buckets, or more if you're extra worried that your enemies will survive the fishing. In the entrance are the fish dispensers, and on the outside are the fish storage areas and timer that was shown earlier. But without a way to start the trap, there might as well be no trap. So the timer is connected by pressure plate and redstone at the bottom of the tunnel, so that when a player falls, it begins the redstone timer, and begins the fishing. Now this was the original idea, with no improvements yet. Why would anyone need such a thing, you may ask? That is a good question, I said. Another good question is, please subscribe. Which is not a question. Hit the subscribe button so we can surpass my future self in subscribers and create a time-destroying paradox. Anyways, back to the trap. Here is what happens once a player falls for my trap, figuratively and literally. There is just one problem though. I was doing nothing to escape. The average player, probably one with overpowered equipment and also a hardened SMP player, will not simply do nothing when faced with certain death. He will attempt to disarm the trap and escape. The first attempt at escape would be to fly out, which would be too easy with this open hole. So to prevent that, I added 2 more dispensers on top of the fish summoners. One with lava, and one with water. This is to make new obsidian on top of the trap, since obsidian cannot be automatically placed or moved around. By connecting the lava dispenser to the pressure plate, and having the dispenser place water on top of it 1 tick later to make obsidian, the player is basically trapped in the water capsule. With obsidian on top and below the fish jail, it will take, according to my calculation, 3 seconds to break out with a god pickaxe. meaning the next fastest way out is through breaking the dispensers, which will be a bit hard to do with 24 fishes in your way. Even if you broke one dispenser, the fishes would still kill you before you can escape. Which means there is one option left: killing the fishes. As you may know, fishes are very easily dyeable. Combine this with the overpowered sweeping edge enchant for MLG kill streak, and you have this. If you were to shift at the bottom of this pressure plate, and constantly spam click, the sweeping edge kills all the fishes flopping around on the ground, meaning no entity cramming happens. So it was time for the second improvement. This. Not only does the pressure plate activate the trap, but it moves a piston that destroys the pressure plate, leaving no air in the trap. Since we could not use obsidian for the bottom due to the piston being allergic to obsidian, we will have to use ancient debris because it's the hardest block that can be moved by a piston, besides the netherite block, but nobody has time for that. Another possibility of escaping is eating the chorus fruit, which can. The chorus fruit has its limitations however. Because the worst enemy of the chorus fruit is a solid block. All you need to do is to just fill the redstone area with blocks, and players will not get anywhere with their silly chorus fruit. It is not needed to place anything in the tunnel since chorus fruits can't teleport players directly upwards. But make sure the tunnel is at least 8 blocks tall. After all this, I would say that this trap is kind of decent. This can be improved by adding more fish dispensers somehow if you are a redstone genius, or even putting an Elder Guardian into the trap if you care that much for some reason. Maybe you do not want to use fish at all. You can use damage potions instead of fishes, or maybe just don't use the chamber at all and use this anvil trap instead where you have 5 anvils per second smashing the player by using a trapdoor to remove extra anvils. But anyways, that is all the random ideas I had for today. Thank you for coming to my presentation. Are you in an SMP and have too many items and too much free time at your disposal? Do you want to turn this into your own clickbait? Do you want to trick your friends? Go ahead. Speaking of trickery, one of the main helpers of this channel has supposedly tricked people into dating a TTS robot. Link in description. Anyways, thanks for watching. And shout out to the members of this channel.